Radio FM. To get used, whatever, just use it. Radio FM. Radio. Radio FM. To get used, whatever, just use it. Radio FM. Radio. Radio FM. To get used, whatever, just use it. Radio FM. Radio. Radio FM. To get used, whatever, just use it. Radio FM.
What's up, people listening to Radio FM? I'm Razzmic, your host for today. Radio asked me to program a talk for World Pride, which is still going on. I think today is the closing party in the city center. I hope you had a nice Pride celebration last week or this week, whenever you were doing whatever you were doing. And I was reading this book recently. It's called Selling the Night, When Club Culture Meets Brands, Advertising and the Creative Industries. It's by Andy Crisell, who I think owned clubs and is also in advertising for huge brands, which feels like a bit of a weird discrepation, because clubs can be protected, sheltered communities of like intersectional, marginalized demographics, and the boiler roomification, or like the advertising, make it visible to everyone. Selling the club can be a bit of a conflict with the like origins of a club or a queer community in a club. And I was fascinated by this topic. I'm still making my way through this book. I can recommend it. But I wanted to talk about like queer communities. I think like there's a minor thread of a lot of pinkwashing the last few years with Pride. A lot of people are talking about it, like banks and big telecom corporations have bought their way in, and there's no way back in some ways. And I feel like a lot of collectives are making themselves on purpose less visible, or try to reconnect with like a model of volunteering or anti-commercialism to keep their original morals intact without being pinkwashed. Though it can be a nice little balance when you have the right sponsor that stands for your initials and doesn't interfere with them while you still get the funding. I wanted to talk with two people I invited from Doppelpunkt Collective, Mara and Genta. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. It's nice weather outside, so I'm feeling happy.
Yeah, same.
I'm having a good time. Like the sun is out, and yeah, I love it.
Nice. And we have matcha margarita, so that's
That's
a
always
good little brunchy drink. Yeah, I wanted to ask you guys, like, I know you from like the Utrecht vicinities. I live there still, and you do really cool shit with your Doppelpunkt collective. Like, you bring people together. It's queer-minded. It's at its core. I think it's also like based on like creating stuff or like expressing yourself in an artistic way. Could you tell me more about how you guys got into like creative practices? What is your relationship to art, expressing yourself?
So for me, I am currently a student studying art education. And before that, I was already expressing myself a lot through writing. Genta and I also met through a course that we both did at the University of Utrecht. So that course is called Literature Today. And for me, at least, it gave me a lot of opportunities to think about where I want to be with my creative work and who I want to invite to participate in that. So I think my experience in academia like led me towards then wanting to pursue art education as like a main thing that I want to dedicate myself to. So yeah, that's where I'm at currently, building my educational practice, engaging, I guess, mainly in Utrecht with different communities there. And yeah, Doppelpunkt kind of was born out of this impulse to connect, I think.
Yeah, I grew up with art around me. My dad is an artist, and I studied literature, and I moved to Netherlands to also study literature, and that's how I met Mara. So my relationship with art and literature have always been there since I was really young. So to be able to kind of like express it here in the way that I couldn't back home. I'm from Indonesia, and being queer is not something that I could fully express. So being able to do it here with people who are like me, and to have the kind of like opportunity and have the space to do it is always like what I always dream of. So it's really awesome to be able to do it.
Yeah, nice. What kind of artist is your dad, actually?
He's a painter.
Oh,
He
wow.
used to work as an illustrator at a local like magazine, and yeah, he's a painter. So yeah.
And he lives in Indonesia now?
He lives in Indonesia,
Okay.
yes.
And you guys met through your education?
Yeah.
Or to a course you did, you said?
Yeah, a master's degree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let us know if we should move the mics closer to our mouths, by the way.
That's always better.
There you go.
And so when did you actually establish Doppelpunkt? I'm asking an open door here, but
Yeah, actually, we're here today on our 2-year anniversary.
oh my god,
Yeah.
congratulations!
Yeah, so 2 years ago, we met up at Café België in Utrecht with 4 of the founding members. to establish sort of what we wanted to create with this collective. So the rest of the collective are also people that we met through our studies, and through like being part of the queer community in Utrecht. And yeah, 2 years ago on the dot was when we decided to like start things with a very vague idea. I remember it was still all very up in the air, like what we actually wanted to do, but we just knew that we wanted to do creative things together. Yeah.
What was the first fake idea? If you can describe it, because it was vague.
I think we were just thinking about workshops or like bringing people together to do creative things and in some way, shape or form. We had these ideas about zines, about like publishing things potentially, finding spaces where queer people can get together. And I think our first project was also something that we kind of just slid into by like knowing people and being around. So it took us a while, I think, also to establish like what we really wanted this project to be. I don't know if you have.
Yeah, I think it also started out because we were graduating and we were like, we still want to hang out with each other constantly. It's like, what can we do to kind of like realize it? So of course, like our background is in literature, but we're also like from academia, so we also want to make it like very accessible to people who are maybe not from that kind of background. So I think that's kind of like where we start, and then we kind of have time to really establish like who we are as a collective and like what we want to bring, and I think we're kind of there now. Yeah.
That's nice. What were the first other events that you did as a collective, and what was shaping your unintended or intended mission statement along the way?
I think the first ever project that we did was the workshop at the abandoned kind of school building, and we had a project called What's in a Home. And you want to talk about it?
Of course. This was a building in Zeist that used to be a community center that was being torn down and I think renovated, or something new was built there. And there was a group of artists who planned to sort of occupy the building right before it was torn down. And they invited graffiti artists and people from the HKU, like art school. So we came in to sort of add this nuance of introspection, I think. So our room that we were given to transform had a few questions on the wall about what it means to be home somewhere, or what would it take for a place to feel like home, because this community center housed a lot of community events. Like a lot of people from the neighborhood would go there to hang out, to meet each other. So kind of unintentionally, this question of home was brought up really early in our existence as a collective, and it stayed with us to our most recent project. I don't know if are we allowed to talk a little bit about it?
You can.
Nice.
But I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
You said there were questions on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
They were literally written on the wall.
Yeah.
Did you do that? Was that already there?
No, we conceptualized the questions and we painted them on the walls, like painstaking labor for the community.
Yeah. And I think you're also asking a lot of questions that can apply to communities like Radio as well. I know that clubs in the Netherlands are struggling, and that they are trying to see how they can either open their doors to be a home or a hub in whatever way to create and provide stuff like this. Though we are, I think it is hard for clubs to do this with their own money, so it's also understandable that there's a sponsor here. But the club. Also ask themselves these questions, I think, and it's really applicable to nightlife. So I think I like that connection in any art form, actually. And it's good that you posed important questions. But tell more about your upcoming project.
Actually, Genta, I would love if you would tell a little bit about this upcoming project, because it's kind of your baby.
It is my baby a little bit. So we are working, we're almost finished with it. We have been working on this zine, our first zine. It's called Lesbian Home. So it's kind of like accidentally a continuation of our first project, What's in a Home. So this is a zine that I first had this idea because I published this article called Are You There, God? And it's about my identity on lesbian and my background as a Muslim and Indonesian. And I knew that there would be a lot of people who are like me, but they don't really have a way to express it and have the space to do it. So that's kind of how the idea came about. And we did have a poetry workshop on it, and we had an open call. And yeah, we're launching it 2 weeks from now on 21st August. And yeah, I'm super excited about it. It's basically like my baby. I'm very proud of it, and I'm happy that now it's finally gonna come out.
That's so cute. So it's a zine that's gonna come out on the 21st of August.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then people can remember that. And also, like, if people want to find you, do you have an Instagram where they can find you? Can you state it? We're gonna state it like 3 times so they won't forget.
Yes, we have an Instagram. Our handle is at Doppelpunkt _collective.
Okay, cool. Well, at Doppelpunkt _collective, and Doppelpunkt is with a K, right? So it's like the German spelling. Cool. Let's listen to 3 more minutes of this wonderful song called Longitude by Damien Dalla Torre, and then we'll talk about more projects of Doppelpunkt and what it means to be queer, about your perception of commerciality and integrity. We'll be right back. We're back here with Doppelpunkt Collective for the Pride Talks of Radio FM. You just listened to this wonderful song called Longitude by Damian Dalla Torre, and now I'm gonna play some more ambient music that I recently discovered, and this one is by one of my favorite favorite flutist, Sam Gandel. It's called Internal Loop, but we'll also yap over it. I'm sorry. More music later. I'm gonna play a DJ set of 1 hour after this, so not this ethereal, but more groovy, sassy, funky. Let me see. I have some other questions. What do you have, like a mission statement as Doppelpunkt Collective, or a manifesto, or something like that? You pose the important questions, but maybe you already have like a framework that comes before that.
A manifesto would be a really nice idea. Maybe we can do that in the future. I think we just had some values that were really important to us starting out. So intersectionality was obviously a really big concern for us, like providing a space where people can feel comfortable and invited in. So like, let's say because we're a queer collective, maybe we provide spaces that feel comfortable for queer people, but what if people feel intimidated also by this label, or what if people are questioning? We want to like provide a space that is open to all and that invites people to meet together, also to do something beautiful, like creating together, which I also feel like, you've already brought up like commercializing everything that you're doing, and I think being creative is something that is so important for your brain and your health and like your well-being overall. And the fact that often it's meant to be something that you're then supposed to capitalize on, that is something we're pushing against as well. So access to our workshop is something that is really important for us. We try to keep costs as low as possible for people who want to come visit. Most of our workshops are for free. And that is something that I feel like we also want to maintain. Because I think also, like, and maybe we'll get into it later, but nightlife, of course, is such a big part of queer life. But there's maybe not a lot of spaces that just offer like quiet togetherness, and that's not about consumption, but about producing something, or like creating things. Maybe producing is the wrong word, but making something together.
I get that. I sometimes also pose myself the question, like, what does come forth from your presence on some dance floors in life? And mostly I think it's social connections. I think like some valuable seeds are planted or new friendships form that can be taken into the more quiet spaces, for example. So everything is interconnected, everything relates in that kind of way. I wanted to ask, like, what is, like, indeed, like, I sometimes have this discrepancy. What if you're like really good at like organizing and people are spreading the word, and then you want to make it your main thing, but then you have to invest time and invest money, and you have to get money back. Is that something you've ever thought about? The vacuum of capitalism?
No, it looms ever large, let's say. I mean, for us, we have also only recently started doing paid gigs, let's say. So like workshops that we offer, we usually do just on a volunteer basis. But we have done some collaborations with larger institutions in Utrecht and Amsterdam, like Read My World Festival here, and the ILFU International Literature Festival in Utrecht. And the money that comes out of this for us, we always like keep on the side to invest in future projects. So we don't pay ourselves a wage, let's say, with this money.
I get that.
But it's about like, how can we invest this into making maybe a larger project in the future?
Yeah, I think also like the term collective. I'm with a collective as well that does a lot of things with Radio as well. One of my friends who founded it, actually, Lucas Benjamin, is the founder of Stepping Into Tomorrow. The fact that we have this term, this meaning as a collective, means that it's, I think, to me, it's at war with capitalism, liberalism, and like your individual share. Most of the money we kind of keep is for the stichting and goes back into the stichting for future projects. So that is our only mission in that. We have grown in hostings and collaborations, but not in like a model, getting a model out of it. That's why you're not a stichting, a foundation. But I think we're on the same page about that. So what are the future projects you're working on, actually, next to the Lesbian Home magazine, or the plans you have, maybe the dreams?
For currently, we have our specialty blackout poetry that we're gonna do next Tuesday with a white out. And after that, do we have anything else in the plans?
I mean, we're doing International Literature Festival Utrecht again, and I feel like now this like small venture into publishing is something that interests me a lot, where I'm like, this is a really cool avenue to continue working with, to think also about like what are the opportunities that publishing holds for a queer collective like ourselves. And we've been doing a few like workshops on gender and writing. So this is kind of also a personal project for me that I'm working on for my thesis, or like my graduation project. But as a non-binary person, I think it's really important to create some visibility of what gender nonconformity can look like, what it can mean for your art making, for your creativity, and how also creativity can enable you to discover more about yourself and to explore your own identity. So these are things that I personally would love to explore more with projects for Doppelpunkt.
That's nice. Yeah, I'm also looking into the intersection of gender expression, visibility versus not being fucking erased in nightlife. I recently joined a wonderful summer school by this collective called Fructose in Amsterdam. It's Fructose, instead of a U, it's an X. And this summer school is about making a queer sound system, like doing everything from scratch about the sound system. So you literally saw, you do the carpenting, you do everything. And we had this wonderful workshop by Eris Drew and Octo Octa, two of the most famous trans DJs in nightlife, and they built their own sound system. And it was also like a lot about visibility. How do you pay for that? How do you find a way? And it's, mainly bottom line is just you have to be very fanatic and you have to love it a lot. How do you feel about that?
About being fanatical?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly a drive. Like, I think... Yeah, wait, I actually have to think about this.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
For me, being passionate and driven, like, sometimes, it can make me also overwork on things for Doppelpunkt. Like, I sometimes really notice, like, whoa, I'm putting a lot of energy into this. And it also keeps me going, I have to say. Like, I think as an expat here or an immigrant here, it can be really like hard to find your way sometimes, or you can feel a bit lonely, or a bit like just the struggle can be really real. And knowing that I have this project that connects me to the place that I'm living in as well. So like, again, this home thematic feels really resonant for me. Maybe you also have some things.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I do feel like I am very passionate about it, and I do love doing it. And I think that love is what drives us to really like want to do it so much, because this is just like what we want to work on. And I think, again, being an immigrant, I do sometimes feel excluded, even like in the queer communities here. So I think this is also my way of building that community that I would like to be included in, and also to invite people to be in it, because I wouldn't want anyone to feel the way that I felt. You know?
In what ways did you feel excluded, if you want to talk about it?
When I had this experience last year, which also kind of like what made like lesbian home. So I was supposed to be joining this lesbian collective in Amsterdam, and I had my idea and everything, and that person who kind of like welcomed me at first was very excited about my ideas, but then they excluded me in a way that was very shocking from a person who was in the community, who was supposed to be like welcoming to everyone. So yeah, and I felt like, because there was like an obvious kind of like power dynamic between us, of them like being a Dutch, like a native Dutch person, and me being an immigrant, and I felt like they didn't really realize the power that they had over me. So yeah, that kind of like what was my experience. So that was kind of like my motivation. Like I would never want anyone to feel that way, and I would never want to make anyone feel that way. So that was like my drive to be like, okay, I have to show up for people, and I have to be a representation in a way. Yeah.
And how do you feel about like achieving that already, like gradually? What are your good experiences with that, with your collective?
It feels really good. I do feel like our purpose was always to build communities, and I think in these 2 years that we have been doing it, we have established a community like gradually, and I have seen people who constantly like go to our events, go to our workshops, and they feel like they have a community because of us, and it mean like the world to me, because like that was our purpose, and I didn't really realize that it would make such an impact to other people.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Also, what are the things that you didn't aim to do with your workshops, or the gatherings you have, and that came out of it that made you really delighted or fulfilled, or that you didn't expect?
Something that I do notice and that feels really resonant is like how dire the need is sometimes for things that are targeted towards communities like genderqueer, non-binary, or gender non-conforming people, as well as the lesbian home zine, which of course I can't really speak for this because I'm not a lesbian, but it was really beautiful to see how many people were like felt spoken to and seen through this. And sometimes, I guess, when you are queer yourself and you experience this every day, it can feel like, yeah, it's just my existence, and I just try to do what I think is right. And then, the way that it can touch people is really beautiful. I think also sometimes the way that people become less shy when they come to workshops, this can be super rewarding to see, like how maybe the first time a person joins, they're just like a bit withdrawn and they're a bit shy, and then later they really come out of their shell, like the more they join the meetings. This is specifically the case for like this monthly book club that we have, where we have some participants that were really like, a bit closed off in the beginning, but the more they joined, the more you could see like, they're like opening up and they're making new connections, which is really nice.
Cute.
Yeah.
Are there any like social bonds you got out of it?
Social connections?
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. No, I'm really happy to say that this kind of work has connected me with a lot of really wonderful people. Of course, it's also nice that through collaborations with different places and institutions, we can meet a lot of new, interesting people that are doing work that also resonates with our ideas. I think that's been really, really rewarding.
Yeah, I'm really happy that we have also met people who are, like-minded like us, poets, artists, especially in Amsterdam, who not only support but also want to be included in our in our work as well. So it's like opening like new doors for us. So it's been amazing.
That's wonderful. I'm gonna play some more music, and then we can take a little drink break, and we'll be back. Okay, so we just discussed a little bit. You're both literature students, but I know you're an avid music fan, and you probably are as well. Do you have some like plans with Dutch music and nightlife landscape to do something with the collective, or do you want to talk about your own experiences in Dutch nightlife as a queer person? Yeah, there's probably a lot to add because I know we had conversations about this before. So I really wanted to know, actually.
I mean, we currently don't really have any plans to do something more nightlife oriented, but I certainly think there's potential in that. For myself, I am not a super avid party goer, but I do really love Dutch nightlife. I think there's a lot of really nice parties and cool places to go to. And it's also always been a space for expression for me. I have to say, like, I'm more introverted, so it's not always the easiest to feel like I'm really connecting on the dance floor. But at the moment, I'm trying to focus a bit more on like finding parties that really play good music that I'm curious about, that I'm interested in. I'd like to be in more spaces that play music that I don't know, especially to discover new things while out and about. Yeah, those are things that come to mind for me.
I don't think I have much to add. Like, I'm not much of a party goer either.
Are there any things you thought about, for example, that you would like to see more in Dutch nightlife, especially when it comes to like inclusivity or something like that?
No, I don't really go to parties often. I think you can add more to it.
Yeah, I mean, this maybe is like related to this desire to hear more interesting music, is like the fact that maybe especially queer nightlife can be a bit like pop-centered. It can be a lot of the same artists that are kind of being overplayed. I mean, when I first moved to Utrecht, I remember you were also still doing the maquillage parties, which I always really, really enjoyed. Like the fact that it was super queer, but with music that had also more of a historical angle, like, you know, seeing where queer movements and music find their origins. Specifically also like that Black music is super important to queer music and queer movements.
Yeah, and the appropriate representation of it.
Yes. Yeah. So that was always something that really spoke to me about maquillage. So I miss it. Please do it again.
Yeah.
Somebody fund this.
Might have something planned in November.
Ooh,
so
okay. Nice.
More on that later.
Happy to hear.
Yeah. You were also talking about social inclusivity and loneliness. When we just discussed this, I'm really curious about what you have to say or think, or whatever you felt about that the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think growing up, I just experienced a lot of loneliness with my queerness. And it's been really encouraging to see how queerness is like a very openly discussed topic here, for example. So I'm from Switzerland, and I felt like when I was growing up, queerness was really not something that was spoken about very openly. And moving here has really also enabled me to step into my own queerness. But when it comes to loneliness, that's something that feels like a sort of subconscious or an unconscious drive for the work that we do as well, where it's like, I think the book club I mainly envisioned as a space to go when I am lonely in winter and I want to read, but I don't want to, be alone or isolate myself even further. So combating loneliness and showing people that there's spaces to go that aren't just also places for partying or nightlife, specifically for people who are more introverted also. I think it's really nice to know that there's spaces that still want the same thing. Like, they want the connection, the togetherness, the closeness, but they do it in a way that's more accessible to people who maybe don't connect super well to loud spaces, to crowded places, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like my 2 cents on it are, especially with my own party that I did, is that I want to have an element that is like a mediator between the DJ behind the DJ booth and the people dancing. That dynamic is such a rusted thing in the club that you're actually like looking toward one point where there's one person maybe even higher than you, which is of course also like for logistics, you can see them at any point, but also it's a bit of a weird status dynamic, I would say. So I was trying to put some performance or some side entertainment in that actually would draw people in, like literally maybe sometimes like drawing them in by hand. Sometimes people would join in, sometimes people wouldn't know what the fuck was going on. And I think sometimes it kind of like melted this little rusty dynamic of like the club as a black box that is just preconceived of whatever we think it should be. And yeah, I really hope that people like you or people who think about this in any art form, in any intersection of art, can keep on like thinking about this, criticizing this, adding something to their flavor, adding their flavor to it, and progress with that. I really am being like hopeful to keep on seeing this.
Yeah, I think doing something music related would be really fun. I mean, one of the other members of the collective, Fenna, and I spend hours showing each other songs that we're into. We dance a lot together at home, and I think there's something really nice to think about like how could dancing also be more of a cozy space. Like there's initiatives for this, of course, but maybe this could be a venture for us too. Who knows? Like we'll get our reading rave vibes going. I don't know.
I mean, you can have a book club with an album, or
yeah, something like that. Could be
or
nice.
correspond the album to the book, or
yeah,
club music for introverts.
exactly.
Something like
exactly.
that. I really want to thank you coming here. Genta and Mara and Doppelpunkt Collective. Follow them on Instagram at Doppelpunkt_collective, right?
Indeed.
Cool. And if you're in the vicinity of Utrecht, you might go to the zine launch on the 21st of August of the Lesbian Home.
It is actually, it is actually in Amsterdam.
It is in Amsterdam. No,
Yeah.
that's even better for this.
At Vida Community Center.
Okay.
From 6 to 9 o'clock. We have some nice readings from poets who also contributed to the zine. And we are also offering 2 workshops that night. Sky Juffermans is joining us to offer a sticker making workshop, and we also have our own like classic blackout poetry, which we've been doing throughout the entire 2 years that we've been alive as a collective. So join us for that.
Cool. And are you going to celebrate your 2-year anniversary today? I mean, we're here on a special day. We're already celebrating with matcha and margaritas. But yeah, are you going to do something?
Yeah, we're just gonna celebrate and like maybe look back on what we have done the past 2 years and what we have accomplished. I mean, 2 years is not super long, but not like short either. And I feel like even in just 2 years, we have accomplished so much, and it's way more than we expected. So we're very like grateful, and we're excited for what's to come because there's a lot coming from us.
Yeah, it's highly appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
Enjoy your drinks and our time together. Yeah, I will be back in a bit with a little bit more than an hour of music that I will play. So, see you there.